Hai, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam Sejahtera, Salam UiTM Hatiku. As you all already know, I'm Akif, who will be the first one to get you about our topic presentation today. We are here to present to you about aviation of geometry under our course MAT123 on the first part of our semester. On this whole presentation, we will explain to you about how to apply basic aviation of geometry in real-world context. So yeah, let's move on. There's a lot we're going to talk about on this topic. Basically, there are two cases that we have decided to play a vital role in the application of geometry. But these two are totally different, but would still have the same main idea. The first case is all about our daily life. We will explain how geometry can help us in our permanent daily life. And the second case is about building geometry. We will pick one building as our main problem and solve it using the ideal concept of geometry. This is our timeline. We have divided into 4 parts. The first part basically talks about our main focus on both cases. Moving on to the next part, we will talk about our first case, which is bottle decoration for wedding door gift as a life addiction problem. And then we are going to talk about our second case as a geometry application on building geometry. And as you can see, we have decided to choose COMTA as our main problem. Finally then, we will close our topic presentation with a summary of what we have learned about this topic. Which is the area of focus. We divide it into two cases to make our focus clearer, yet still using the same main idea, that is solving the problems using application of geometry. As you can see, the first case, bottle decoration for wedding door gift as a life addiction. We're going to give a main focus on how to calculate the total budget of wedding door gift and the total number of items needed. For the second case, we have chosen COMTA as our building geometry, and we go straight to the main part of focus on how to calculate the total budget of COMTA's LED light for Independence Day and the total number of LED light needed. There will be more things actually we're going to talk about. So before we wasting our time, let's move to our first case of the application of geometry.
There are two elements of decoration, which is coffee bean and baby breath flower. First, we talk about coffee bean. History of coffee bean. Coffee was first discovered in 15th century in Yemen. It was an Islamic invention. The English word coffee comes to us from the Turkish kahve, itself from the Arabic qahwa. Coffee was first used by the Sufis as an aid for zikir and worship. Coffee then spread northward to other parts of Arabia, including Mecca and Medina. Coffee also spread into larger cities like Cairo, Aleppo, Damascus, and Constantinople. Bolehlah tu.
Next, we are going to the next element's decoration, which is baby breath flower. Found their way into the United States of America in 1828 during the Victorian era, when Victorian gardeners preferred snowy white floral arrangement and gardens. Before being introduced into America, they had popularity in Africa, Eurasia, and Australia. Victorian gardeners fell in love and named them baby breath flower. And if you thought that, I bet Queen Victoria had something to do with it, you will be correct, because Queen Victoria of England was responsible for many Victorian trends we know and love today, gardening or otherwise. He was a fan of delicate baby breath flower and used them in her own wedding floral arrangement. In fact, Queen Victoria in 1838 married to Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg, set many of the bridal custom we know today. including the white wedding dress, which before then was unheard of. Also known as the Gypsophila family, baby wreath derives their name from the sort of soil that they thrive on. They grow best in soil that is rich in gypsum, a calcium mineral that makes soil thick and heavy. Baby breath flowers are drought head and soil tolerant. Furthermore, we can say that baby breath flower is blooming with symbolism. Most commonly, this flower is a symbol of everlasting love, which is one reason why it's a popular wedding flower. Baby breath also represent innocence, which makes it a lovely gesture to make include in wedding door gift and gift for new mothers. Let's move to the best part, which are the calculation and problems for wedding door gift for 100 guests as our first case. The main problems are Faris and Farzana planning to give homemade barrels for 100 guests on their wedding day. They both need to calculate the total cost allocated for wedding door gift, which the estimate cost of their wedding budget for wedding door gifts, which is less than 60,000 to make their dream wedding come true. Calculate the total number of items needed for homemade bundles and total budget of their wedding door gift for 100 guests. So now, let's solve it together. The first item that we need is a glass bottle tube for 100 guests. As you can see, the price for one glass bottle tube is 1.79 ringgit. So we need to multiply it by 100 for 100 guests. And then we get a total budget for 100 glass bottle tube, which is 179 ringgit. Next, we have to find how much rope we need for 100 of it. Let's say we need 15 centimeter total length for each one barrel. So we multiply by 100 to get total length for 100 barrels. And the total length is 1500 centimeter, or we can say 15 meter. Now, we know the total budget we need is only 1.9 ringgit used for 1 DIY 25 meter rope. In the end, we have balance of non-used rope, which is 25 meter minus 50 meter, 50 meter, and finally, we get 10 meter balance of non-used rope. Next, the second item is craft paper A4. This craft paper A4 has 21 cm width and 29.7 length for only 9 ringgit. We need to find the total craft paper A4 need. So firstly, we calculate the total area surface craft paper need for each glass bottle tube. 3 cm multiply with 9 cm, and then we get 27 cm square for area surface for each glass bottle tube. After that, we have to find the total area of surface triangle to carry out to make it a better design. The total area of surface triangle is 1 over 2 multiplied with 3 cm and multiply with 2 cm, as you can see on the picture below. And then we get 3 cm square for each glass bottle tube to cut it out. Sum it up. The total surface area craft paper we need is 27 square minus 3 cm square, which is the triangle to cut it out from. And then we get 24 cm square, which that we need to multiply it by 100 for 100 glass bottle tube to get 2400 cm square. And back to the point that the total budget craft paper A4 that has the total area surface 623.7 cm square is only 9 ringgit. So now we need to find how many craft paper A4 we need by the total surface area for 100 glass bottle tube, which is 2400 centimeter square, divided by the total surface area for craft paper A4, 623.7 centimeter square, and then that's where we get 3.8480 nil. But because of the balanced decimal on craft paper nil, so we round it to the nearest digit, and then we get a total of 4 craft paper A4. Therefore, we can say at least 4 craft paper A4 to make 100 of 27 cm square for each glass bottle tube. Finally, we can calculate the total budget of it, which RM9 multiplied by 4 craft paper A4, and we finally get 36 ringgit as the total budget for craft paper A4 for 100 glass tube barrel tube.
Cost for 80 gram baby brave flour is RM25. Estimate of each dried flour is 0.5 gram until 0.5 gram. So the average of each dried flour is 0.5 minus 0.1, then divide by 2. 0.2 plus 0.1, then you get 0.3 gram. Let each of dried flour is 0.3 gram. Total of baby brave flour is 80 gram divided by 0.3 gram, and you get 266.6667. Because of flour cannot be divided to decimals, so round it to the nearest 100. So you get 266 dried flours. Therefore, at least 266 dried flours for baby brave flour. Total of baby brave flour need is 5 dried flours for each glass bottle tube. So 5 times to 100, you will get 500 dried flours. Total budget for baby brave flour, RM25 for 266 dried flours. So RM25 times 2 equal to 266 times 2. So RM50 equal to 532 dried flours. There is 32 flours more than need. So let those 32 considered as non-use. Cost for 1 kg coffee bean is RM20. To find total coffee bean need for each glass bottle tube, firstly you need to calculate the volume of glass bottle tube, which is pi r square h. Pi times 1.5 square times 70, you will get 120.17 milliliter square. So 120.17 gram coffee bean for each glass bottle tube. Total coffee bean need for 100 glass bottle tube is 12.017 kg. Due to coffee beans that are not compressed causing the presence of a space, this factor makes it impossible for us to calculate the exact calculation. So estimate the total number of coffee beans to the nearest 10. Therefore, 12 kg coffee beans need for 100 glass bottle tube. Total budget of coffee bean 1 kg. 1 kg equal to RM20. So 12 kg equal to RM20 times 12. The total cost for coffee bean is RM240. Total budget of weeding doggy for 100 gas. Glass bottle tube RM179. Rope RM1.90. Craft paper F4 RM36. Baby brave flour RM50. Coffee bean RM240. So total cost is RM506.90. Therefore, Faris and Farzana plans is reasonable as they only need RM506.90 less than the planned budget allocated RM600 for their wedding door gift for 100 guests.
to our second case. Our second case is about building geometry called COMTAR. There are two agendas of our second case. So, for the first one is introduction of COMTAR, and the second one is calculation and problems. History of COMTAR. Do you know what is the other name of COMTAR? Yes! It is the Tun Abdul Razak Complex. It was named after Abdul Razak Hussein, the second Prime Minister of Malaysia, who officiated the construction of the complex. COMTAR is a multi-complex located in the city of Georgetown, Penang, Malaysia. The tower is the third tallest building in Malaysia outside of Kuala Lumpur after the Astaka Tower B at 255.6 meter. It was the tallest building in Georgetown, Penang and Malaysia upon completion. Until 1988, it became the second tallest building after the completion of the Maybank Tower. COMTAR, that's all. Problem question. The Chief Minister of Pulau Pinang plans to decorate the COMTAR building with LED lights to highlight the patriotic spirit in Pulau Pinang on Malaysian Independence Day. The Chief Minister wants to decorate it by placing LED lights around the COMTAR building with the color of the LED lights turned to the colors of the Jalur Gemilang. The Chief Minister must not reach the budget amount more than what has been allocated by the state government, which is 30,000 ringgit. The question is, calculate the total number of LED lights needed and the total number of COMTAR's LED lights for Independence Day.
For COMTAR building, we plan to put one LED for each two floors, since height of one floor equals to 3.5 meter, then two floors equals to 3.5 meter times by 2 and is equal to 7 meters. Let's say we divide three parts of two floors to make sure the LED is in between. So two floors divided by 3 equals to 7 meter divided by 3, and the answer is 2.33 meters. Hence, the best LED height is equal to 2.4 meters. Total LED for one side of COMTAR, there is 50 floors equals to 50 LED for two vertices. We have 2 white LEDs, 12 red LEDs, 14 yellow LEDs, and also 22 blue LEDs. So total LED for 11 sides of COMTAR is 50 times by 11, and the answer is 550 LED. The best LED light that we choose just now is 2.4 meters, and the price of each LED is 53 ringgit 990 per pieces. The total LED is 550 pieces, so the total price of the LED is 53 ringgit 90 times by 550, and the answer is 29,645 ringgit. So this is the total budget of 550 LED lights of COMTAR. The item is 2.4 meter LED light, and the price per pieces is 53 ringgit 90. The price for 550 pieces is 29,645 ringgit. So the total budget is 29,645 ringgit Malaysia.
Summary. We can summarize all of it into one conclusion about both our cases that implemented using application of geometry, which we have learned on the semester program MAT123. We have identified and analyzed generally that both our cases, which is lab adaptation case and building geometry case, were using polygon theorem in each case's calculation. This also shows that both cases prove that solving polygon problems in real world were possible and make sense in every aspect. Moreover, we can say that both cases have been proved that using basic application of geometry has made the calculation much easier and simpler to solve in any circumstances. It finds huge application in the real world as it helps us in deciding which material to use, which design to make, and even plays a vital role in the construction process itself. Thus, it is useful for students. Also, understanding spatial relationship is important in the role of problem solving and higher order thinking skill, or HOTS, HOTS, which geometry allows students to learn. Geometry as a wide thinking concept allows the student to connect mapping objects in the classroom to the real world context in respect to our direction and thus developing our practical thinking. That's all.
That's all for our presentation about the topic of evolution of geometry. Hope who have watched this video have at least understood it very well and can apply this concept of geometry in your daily life. On behalf of my group, we are very sorry if we have lacked in any aspect while presenting this presentation. Thank you and good luck.